This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy!
Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, a.k.a.
Cat Bus Russ,
who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guest and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, Ninety, for FOR chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
So you talk about the Frogs brothers being very tough, stern, stoic. But whenever they kill a vampire, they are kind of freaking out. So how is that kind of change from being stoic to being very childlike?
Yeah, so that was, I think, a fun little, almost a surprise, actually. And I gotta take some credit for it, too, being such an actor guy, is that I was like, there is emotion here. Mm-hmm. They're afraid, but their love for each other, this is the moment where you see that they really need each other, that they really are brothers, And so I remember Joel saying, he was like, the Frogs totally pussy out in that scene. But no, that's not what that, I mean, he loves it. He was giving us a hard time, So.
Hello there. Welcome to I Dig Crazy Flicks with Cat Bus Russ, the home of 90 for Chill, the podcast. I'm your host, Cat Bus Russ, and I'm recording around 10:15 p.m. Sunday in New Orleans. I've just pretty much concluded my trip. I just got to make it back to Champaign. That's going to be around 6:15 on Tuesday, and then early to rise on that top of that. But I digress. A lot of fun was had. I think I did a lot of great work networking, and I'll get into that, but this is a movie podcast, so let's make sure we get a movie taken care of. If you want to skip to the 9-minute mark, if you're not interested in The Crow 2024, that is your prerogative.
Until you put the wrong things right. You were given the power of a god. But you're running out of time to save her. I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them.
So I chose to brave The Crow 2024. It's a remake of the original Crow feature from 1994, starring Brandon Lee. And I purchased this for like $2 on Amazon with a $6 promo, basically because I was doing that panel in Atlanta, the ATL Comic Convention, about the Crow fandom, which ended up being a Q&A with stars from the film and the creator James Abar. It's not as horrid as everybody says it is. That I will just go out and say. What it's lacking is, well, the direction, I guess, is shit. Sorry to just jump to that. It's 2 a.m. and I gotta get up early enough to catch Billy Boyd's panel at New Orleans Fan Expo. Second off, the entire backstory of Eric Draven and Shelley is very much unnecessary. It'd be great to know that they loved each other. I will give you that, but we don't need to go and place them as two people who meet in a rehab facility. Really weird one at that. More of like a, halfway house prison. It's not worth it for a good Joy Division needle drop. And when I say the direction is bad, it's just very dark. The director's decision is, I want this tone. I don't want there to be a sense of hope. And I think that abandons the entire idea of what the 1994 The Crow is. With this darkness, we don't allow our star, Bill Skarsgård in this case, to show any charisma, I think is what happens. Like, there's no, I'm just depressed. I mean, and I don't think he's doing a bad job. It's just how the character is written. That hurts it. I decided to go and check the runtime when the credits start rolling, I should say. And it starts rolling at 1 hour, 40 minutes, 56 seconds. So there's 10 minutes of credits on this feature. So if you cut the 15 minutes, I would, cut the 20 minutes, I would. It definitely is barely qualifies for 90 for chill. So yeah, this is a lot of flaws. It was not as well thought out as they thought it was. And when I speak of no charisma, not just Bill Skarsgård character is not allowed to have fun. No, it's got to be about his suffering. He feels the pain of every wound as he heals. All right, interesting enough. You know, we could start all of this vengeance earlier and get him to adjust to it, basically be Brandon Lee's character adaptation of Eric Draven. Hell, I would settle for Mark Dacascos, and I'm not bad-mouthing it. I thought Stairway to Heaven, the TV show, had some good ideas. You know, maybe if they would not have attached the Eric Draven name to the character like they've done, I believe in the sequels, it's never Eric Draven. And then I go back to the sequels, and I can't really say I've watched the last two, despite, hey, Danny Trejo, and let's see what kind of trouble Tara Reid can get into, and then Fred Ward's in the third one. So there's a lot of stuff that's curious about those. When you go back to City of Angels, no, that was sheer darkness. They didn't even let Iggy Pop really be Iggy Pop, which I think is the major flaw with this film. Nobody's having fun. Because I'm not saying, because some of the action sequences, like the opera house scene, is really solid. Very John Wick-esque, but again, dark. And you're trying to top the guy going for vengeance over a dead dog, and no, it's not dark enough. You know, as I say, it wasn't as painful to watch it, but when I stop and think about it, oh geez, this is a mess. I don't think James O'Barr may have had such ill thoughts about it, except that it decided we have to give these characters a dark backstory. Like, no, Rockstar tried to do good, and then just read the frickin' wiki on The Crow and go with that. It goes back to the idea of charisma in this feature. Like, no, we want our heroes to seem like they're having fun. Which is really weird when I think of, like, John Wick. I think the environment, everybody's having fun around him. I think it's the trick there. Ian McShane, definitely. Willem Dafoe, definitely. Everybody's having fun with this. And here, just nobody wants to have fun. You know, you need somebody who wants to chew up the scenery. And I think the director, probably best known for screwing, Kristen Stewart in while they were filming Snow White and the Huntsman. It's just... and I go back, he did do Ghost in the Shell, which I think is a misunderstood movie. It just, everybody it was anime, it has to be Japanese. And I was like, that's not what Ghost in the Shell is about. But this one, and you can even go back to Ghost in the Shell and nobody's having fun in that one. It's like maybe beat Kitano. So it's, this is just a really ill-conceived mess with some fun action sequences, but I think even the director says, you shouldn't really be enjoying this. And yeah, you shouldn't be enjoying The Crow 2024.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
And we're back with I Dig Crazy Flicks at Fan Expo New Orleans 2026, Day 3. And, everything was kind of working out, I think, for me today. Got up at a decent time. I got there around 10 a.m., so plenty of time to go and make it in the queue for the Billy Boyd panel. But, I did get a little time on the floor, and hey, somebody immediately recognized the Captain N cosplay. On top of that, he also had a Chicago Cubs wristband, watch band, I should say, on his Apple Watch. So, very cool guy. So, got to open up with that. And And, you know, to end the day, there was a gentleman who, while we were sitting, getting our seats made for the Goonies reunion panel, noticed the Captain N jacket, and of course, you know, handed him a button, like, come on, we definitely have similar tastes. Now, I wouldn't call Captain N the Great Game Master, like the first gentleman, as, like, the best Saturday morning cartoon, but, you know, it was event television for my time, mega event television for those who were there, I suppose. So, yeah, got to the Billy Boyd panel. There was a nice little family. Really weird trying to nail the ages down. Maybe one was a little brother to the father, but you know, they gave me some podcast information on their own. So let me see if I can pull that out right now. Trying to make as much noise to pick up on the radio, but might be a little tricky. And come on, oh, he gave me a button. There we go. So now that's the gentleman who gave me the McClunky. So, all right, it was a Coruscant Radio Underground, so Star Wars podcast. Very cool. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna give that a listen. See if it holds up with Brian Young's material. Then I digress. Brian Young, host of the Sith Happens podcast. I've done a couple panels with him at Indiana Comic Con about The Last Jedi and ATL Comic Convention about Revenge of the Sith. So I think we got on great the first time. Second time, I'm sorry, physical media, even film, is better than digital. I'll stand by that. So, yeah, so the panel of Billy Boyd was great. I mean, this guy is a theater guy, and he had to have worked in some improv because he was just roasting the gentleman from Screen Rants who was handling the panel. And credit to Billy Boyd, he said, no, let's not do the fan pre-submitted questions. Let's go and talk to the audience. Another fun thing about Billy Boyd, though, was he was also calling people out for getting up to leave early. And, hey, I've done that at my podcast. Not as, what are you doing? Sorry if I slip into a Scottish accent. But no, I will say, hey, thanks for coming, checking it out. I got your number on the stats. I know it counts. So very cool that Billy, and eventually Billy Boy had nearly called me out because I had to get around the all the back seats to come to the microphone for those questions. I didn't think they were gonna have a microphone. Like when we did Jameson Newlander yesterday for the Lost Boys, there was no mic. So we just, hey, shout out, smaller theater. But really not too much smaller, I think. So, but fun was had. You get to hear about Scottish scones, the lost tapes about that him and Dominique Monaghan had made while waiting to possibly be under possibly rain coverage. You know, when they can't shoot outside, they have to have something planned to make the most out of money on the Lord of the Rings. And, you know, talking a little bit about the finest pipeweed of the South Farling. So, and I think this is where they address the fact that, you know, Pippin is definitely a Scottish hobbit. The Tooks, they're from the north. So, you know, maybe even not part of Hobbiton. Okay, so interesting takes there. But really cool guy. This is a guy who just knows how to... He's out there to have fun. And like him, Michael Rooker, who else is a great... Like him and Michael Rooker definitely come to immediate mind as just guys like, no, I'm playing the crowd. So very cool. And then I was just... I got in the queue and no, they had to cut it off. And it's like, dude, I mean, yeah, Billy has to catch a flight and he's want to do a few autographs still. So I get it. So I did go and get an autograph from Billy Boyd, and very cool guy, and I asked him about Scottish superheroes. There just doesn't seem to be many. And he said, well, yeah, you're right, and sorry, get out of the accent, Russ. Oh, but I had a friend who said, oh, there is one, and I can't think of who he said. And I think who he said may have been Wolfbane. She was played by Macy Williams in The New Mutants, a movie I covered on the podcast very long ago. I don't know if I even have republished that since it's 2021. So I'll have to look into that. My notes back home in Champaign, Urbana. I'm in Urbana if you want technicalities. Shambana, let's not call it Twin Cities or anything like that. But yeah, no, very cool guy. A guy who wants to talk and wants to meet the fans. So, I think he's still primarily theater, but I know he's got a show with Dominic Monaghan, Billy and Dom Eat the World, something like that. And, if you can find the Friendship Onion, I think it was a subscription podcast. I saw the podcast live at Fan Expo 2022, I believe. Very cool. That was where they tried Garrett's popcorn. And that's interesting. They don't have Chicago-style popcorn down here yet, according to my friend Megan, who, I went on that little Bumble date with on Friday night. She's been very playful, at least amusing, entertaining me. I sent her tonight after I got to the hotel. But New Orleans, it's a nice town. Somebody who was selling specific glitter. I know I have their card, so again, I will keep talking just so I can keep the audio going. I'll find that info here right off the top. Electra Cosmetics. Now, I have Uniglitter back home that I put on for goth night, but they said, we don't recommend you screwing around with your eyes on that. So they have a finer glitter that you can put as, say, eyeliner, eyeshadow, what have you. Probably eyeshadow is the right term. Mom is going to get on me for getting a Chalazion when I was wearing eyeshadow, and in about 2007, fresh out of outpatient psych ward. Funny enough. And that required a little brief surgery. So I think a sty is on the outside of the eye, a Chalazion's on the inside. So it's probably nothing to do with the makeup. But it did require getting lanced. So that was a fun way to end my semester then. I got Billy Boyd's autograph, and with Joey Pants, Joe Pantolino, which I didn't know he actually liked being called Joey Pants, and I guess now he's very much cool with it. My good friend Stephanie Smith, sometimes I would describe a movie by the actors, and she was cool enough to that's Joey Pants in that movie. Oh, we're awesome. So I went to wait and get an autograph with Joe, and then he had to step off with Robert Davi to do some photo ops. But he was really quick in coming back, quicker than that Trump twat supporter, Davi. I would love to get a chance to talk to Robert Davi, because he's been in a lot of movies where they only had him for a day type thing. Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants, I think he's done a little more noticeable work, let's just say that, despite being that guy. Not many people know, and I had to, when I was at my retail gig and saying, oh yeah, I'm going here, and this is the guy I'm looking forward to seeing. Oh, Joe Pantoliano? Joe Pantoliano? Let me see. Oh, Ready to Rumble. And I didn't bring that up to him, and he did not have any 8x10s from that movie. I was kind of torn on the 8x10. He doesn't have any Funko Pops. I know he's signed Dr. Mindbender Funko Pops, but no, he doesn't have any Funko Pops as far as I can tell. All the kids from the Goonies got him, but not the Fratellis. So I'm at his table, and he's got Running Scared. I think he may have had some Showgirls. I know he had Bound, which has Jessica Tilly Jennifer Tilly, sorry. Running scared. I think there was definitely some Bad Boys paraphernalia. I went and got a photo of him as Cypher, because the cool thing about The Matrix is he was so cool a character on the VHS release, they had to Photoshop him into the original poster, which was just Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Lawrence Fishburne. So, very cool. And, I get up there and I first off said, oh man, you're like a drinking game. Like, whenever you show up, I should have said, you're that guy. Like, yeah. And it only makes sense to have a drink. Celebrate this guy. There you go. And, he's always great in every movie. Like, Ready to Rumble, like, we could have probably gone serious, not David Arquette. Like, yeah, Ready to Rumble, I probably have to rewatch it. There's some just so awfully beyond juvenile, beyond low-level 2000 stuff in there, humor-wise. But so much of it, like, Joey Pants is the villain in that one, and we just think of DDP. And, like, no, it's a Vince McMahon thing. And I was talking about Ready to Rumble, and I found out that John Cena was an extra on Ready to Rumble. And, but, hey, I couldn't see him. Wah, wah. All right, so I'm talking about that, and I brought up the Rewatchables podcast. And Joey said, never heard of it. I don't really listen to him. All right, well, here this best explains it. There's an award. They watch movies, and then they give out awards to it. And one of the awards is the Joey Pants Award for that guy. And, explain that. And Joey says, and those fuckers haven't reached out to me, and they named the award after me. So I've been doing my best all day on social media to try getting Bill Simmons and any Ringer-related account, rewatchable host, Sean Fennessy, Chris Ryan, to, hey, respond. Joey wants to be on. Or at least he, made it look like he wanted to be on. So that was just a great interaction. And what did I do after that? I, did a little more wandering. By that point, though, it was like only an hour before the Goonies panel, which I think was 3:15. So they closed around 4. I think the show floor stayed around 5. I did check out Bizarro Wrestling, and I don't know. I'm really gonna have to talk to these guys, okay? Because I guess their champion is Simon Says. Okay, that sounds like Simon Diamond's gimmick, But all right, I'll play along. Oh, that is Simon Diamond's theme song. Okay, it's a little bit of bullshit, and then he does the Simon Says bit, and it's like, I just realized how long ago the glory days of professional wrestling are. It goes back to me saying on the bonus episode, Fan Expo Day 1 and Day 2, that John Cena probably wrestled in the worst time for professional wrestling. No competition, no options, do what Vince McMahon says or get shagged. ECW, there's like shit. Gen Z probably doesn't know anything about it, or never got to witness any of it, and except for the new product, and nobody took that seriously. They probably didn't know. Well, okay, Simon Diamond was in TNA. Yeah, but we're talking 06-ish, so just before ECW came back, and so. Yeah, nobody's really aware of it, and you can get away with new stuff. I guess you could say, well, everybody copies Gorgeous George. What's old becomes new again. But, yeah, and then with the wrestling, they had pretty much a triple heat thing. I made some great comments, like their top guy, Ray Fury, was slapping people in the ass, and one of the wrestlers was in a bluey costume. They said a bluey costume. No, that was Dad. I can't remember Dad's name. I think it might be Bandit. But, no. But that's me being very nerdy. Like, you see a guy in a blue dog outfit, you're just going to say Bluey. I'll give the fans credit that. But no, there was just like, you know, and the referee was wearing a lucha mask. So it's another comment. It's like, you know, you slap a guy in the butt in their costume. You know, I shouted out, and I did get a rise out of some people. Cosplay is not consent. So, interesting product. Something I think I really do have to go and look into. So I guess supposed to be the same crew because the Simon Says guy said, "Oh, I'll wrestle you, Ray Fury, in Orlando," which is the next GalaxyCon. Well, the next GalaxyCon I think is Portland, and then it's MegaCon in Orlando, which is and I'm sorry, not GalaxyCons, fan expos. I was actually looking today because, you know, I want to express again my appreciation for Megan taking the time to just hang out with a guy, and you know, it's basically, well, when is GalaxyCon New Orleans? And I checked it, and I think it's the same week as Capital City Con in Lansing. And, you know, Capital City Con, a really good thing going there. Nice, down-to-earth, great people. So, and, you know, it's going to be cheaper for me to stay. I can drive around. So, speaking of Michigan, I'm looking into the Cherry Capital Comic Con, I believe it was. So a lot of 4Cs up in Michigan, but yeah, they have a convention I think in April in Acme, Michigan. So Northwest, not the UP. If you're going, how far? Probably far enough north that they speak with A's and don't you knows. But I digress. So yeah, that was after the Goonies panel. The Goonies panel was a lot of fun. You know, what do you wish, New Year's resolution, what do you wish for 2026? And a lot of people just saying understanding and accountability. And, you know, Robert Davi is a very ardent Trump supporter. I would not freaking say that, especially after somebody gets murdered in Minneapolis by Trump's policies. So, yeah, I mean, brave on Robert to stick by his guns. Bad unintentional pun there. But, you know, Robert Davi's a working actor. He's got a 6-year-old. He's 74 years old. You know, so I get it. He doesn't want to pay taxes this late. Hey, don't do a Bill Belichick thing, you know? What can I say? But, man, the guy can sing, so siren bullshit, I suppose. But Joe Pantoliano was just having fun, giving him a lot of garbage about being the mean Fratelli brother, and you'd say, well, no, and he'd justify the stories like, oh, when I fed Chunk, you know, I would sing to let him know, oh, it's dinner time. And yeah, you know, I'd get pissed when he got angry at the food, like, oh, you're just treating me like my brother and mama. So I get it. And Corey Feldman was giving Sean Astin a lot of grief over, you know, Carrie Green. Like, what's your wife thing? Sean Astin's been married for 35 years, so it's a great relationship. But no, he did not mention he went to breakfast with Carrie. And if you remember the Goonies, you know, the let's just say, I can't remember what it's called. I never got to play it, sadly. 30 Seconds of Pleasure or something like that. You know, go in a closet, dark room, you don't know who you're making out with type stuff. So, I get it. But, and they were talking about how great it is that somebody's put so much effort into making sure the house from the Goonies is kept intact. And, you know, it's interesting because the Goonies is kind of a so non-PC, politically correct, that I don't think it gets enough love, and they don't think it gets enough love. Like, you know, we've thrown, you know, fandoms that love something will throw it into, you got Galaxy's Edge. You can't go to the Death Star, but you can go to Mikey's house in the Goonies. you can make that pilgrimage. So it's something you can really hold on to, and somebody who's really out to make that a thing. And it's great that Carrie Green, who got out of acting, she's primarily an editor, was able to edit that movie, and hopefully it'll come out soon. Let's see. So Corey Feldman, he was his big thing was he said the only famous person in the movie was Joe Pantoliano, and he basically said because you're Guido the killer pimp, and you're like, what are you doing watching an R-rated movie? And granted, Corey killed Jason in 1984, I believe. Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. He's the original Tommy Jarvis. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to get exposed to that kind of stuff. And he had to fight gremlins. And I think, a lot of people say, whoa, the cursing is so bad. Kids don't talk like that. And it's like, I didn't talk like that. Well, a lot of kids didn't talk like that in the 80s because Generation X is the last generation that was going to get slapped in the mouth for saying such things. The one time I said, damn, I did not realize it was a curse word. I didn't realize what curse words were, and I was probably 5-6 years old when I did that. And my mom was cool and explained it to me. I think she caught on to that, which for Mom, that's kind of rare. She's just like to keep us in order. 4 kids, she didn't actually... That was not the future she thought of leaving high school. She came from a rough family. So, not trying to justify slapping your kids. I will say, though, just because I work in retail and now kids are just so bloody unruly, it's like kids don't fear anything. And that's going to create a worse mouth than anything Feldman, Aston... what I'm not gonna try saying Tada's name. I don't watch enough movies with him in it, and it's understandable. He kind of dropped off the map. I think he was a stunt coordinator and then came back for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I do need to watch his John Wick knockoff. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. I shouldn't say a John Wick knockoff and Nobody knockoff. I still gotta get around to watching that. It's so reasonably priced, but I can access Peacock, so, really, I think Best Buy is now selling physical media again online. I don't know if it's from Best Buy directly, or you have to go to Best Buy Marketplace. So... try my best to be as vague as possible about that. But, hell, I would have probably gotten onto this earlier, try to watch a movie. Maybe I'll still do that. Checkout's not till 11. But then I'm going to have to get up and talk about the movie here, so... play it by ear, but I was watching the Patriots-Chargers game. And I shouldn't. Alright? The Bills are in the playoffs, so you can't blame me for doing so, and because that's the family, my family, the Stevens legacy is being there since day one of the Buffalo Bills, and it's going to come to an end this year. Rand, my little brother, went to the time was able to go and see the last game in what I will always call Ralph Wilson Stadium. I think it's Highmark Stadium now, or was. It's a parking lot in about 3 months. So let's say, football is in my blood. I'm trying to flush it out. I had an argument with a kid at my retail job, saying, "Oh, but the game's gotten a lot safer. We only got 3 documented concussions." And it's like, it's so easy to pass concussion protocol. Just watch a boxing movie and, kids are getting their brains scrambled. And I can call them kids. That is just, that's a scary statement. Now, just really realizing my own mentality, and here I am talking about I have to fix Bizarro Wrestling. Like, I don't know, Student Game has a great place when there's a guy who says, ain't no thing. And I'm like, are you saying that as I? Or are you just saying, ain't no thing? Like, I ain't no thing. Sloppy, but it's grammatically correct. But you ain't no thing. No. It is a contraction for I am not. That's ain't. So don't. Just a lesson today in grammar. So yeah, it was a fun trip. Picked up some electric cosmetics for the glitter. Found a cool sticker. Person who's doing sticker, and more importantly, I think that will be the photo for the logo, because I think it just fits better. There's an artist, and I'm trying to find their. I don't know if it's no, don't think it's her. Well, she sent me the logo sticker. So, okay, so the him llama. He, and we got into that conversation about trans because I picked up a sticker from them, which is the I can't remember her name from Lord of the Rings. She's the one who kills the Night King, and no man can kill me. I am no man. So it's a sticker with her with her cape being a trans flag. And I'm gonna, Dad listens to the podcast now, so that's good. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not straight. I don't consider myself bisexual. I'm Neptunic. If you identify as a woman, or you, you're in transition to a man, I'm not going to say, I am, there's a degree of attraction. Not saying you're going to beat out any woman I see on Wednesday Night Wrestling, but I'm not saying you're not. So, I was staying with Megan. We just talked for, nearly, when I think of it, because it's a bar that was closing, the Rusty Nail, and, we're just pretty much, I'm laying everything out there, because I don't know if I'm going to see her again. I don't want to be as honest. I want to be as cool as possible. So, yeah, I came up with, my own experiences, getting intimate with the transgender. So, yeah, I'm that tunic mom, if you're wondering. Which, yeah, probably means I have a better fashion sense than the fashion sense you think I have. I know you're not appreciative of the campiness, but hey, that's more wrestling than I think my own proclivities. But okay, so yeah, came out as queer tonight, so that makes this trip to New Orleans pretty worthwhile, I suppose. So, and I went around picking up, addressing people who I know were more content creators than, unestablished content creators, I should say. Like, there's a lot of people on Artist Alley who have drawn for Marvel, for DC, Image, and, it's like, who are you promoting? What are you promoting? If you go down the vendor floor, these are people who are working on making their own product. I think they deserve to be in Artist Alley. I was saying that because I went to C2E2 website. I was trying to talk good old Allie from Alex Accessory Shop on Etsy's Trash Feature Reviews. Like, hey, let's try getting a table at C2E2. It's only $500. And, you know, circumstances being what they are, she doesn't really want to commit to staying overnight for a convention, definitely not over 2 nights. I could go into our own breakup, but I digress. She lives with schizoaffective disorder, so yeah, it's a lot more complex than me, like, feeling very much like, oh, who am I? As I'm wandering the floors in just my cat bus hat, instead of being all totally giblied up, you know, cat bus, calcifer, polo, you know, button-up shirt, Hawaiian shirt, dare I say, calcifer tank top, my Totoro shoes. But, you know, it's, again, I'm a performer, and at heart, I suppose. It was a lot easier when I was just getting my ass kicked on the high school wrestling mat, like the drama that came with that. But, yeah, I just had to get into that performer mode. The only thing I can get pissed off about is we got to stop frickin' people coming up and saying, oh, I'm doing music for the kids, and hey, you want to, you know, give me a moment of your time, and here's a QR code. Now give me 40 frickin' bucks. I mean, I was able to talk the guy down to 8, but it's like the day prior somebody hit me up like that, and he said, what do you got, Spotify, Apple Music? And I said, no, I just listen to CDs and vinyl. Oh, okay. Now it was nice him calling me, asking where I was from. I said, oh, Peoria. Oh, you black too. It's been a weird winter for me. I had a incident where a customer caught me cursing under my breath about them. Not to them. Let's be clear there. And fortunately, I was, they didn't help their case when I got my manager over there for the discipline. And, but yeah, this happened to me and Gregory Carl back at Indiana Comic Convention, where one guy came up to us like, oh, here it is, like $20 is going to help the kids. And then we get sworn by 4 other guys. So I think Gregory got away with only 20, but I'm giving it 20 to that guy, 20 to that guy. I just want to get out. And then eventually I turned around and called them out on their bullshit. And this happened at Des Moines GalaxyCon. And I said, dude, I'm not going to help the kids. So, make a diss track about me, I suppose. But, yeah, don't give me that shit. Show me your not-for-profit, like the Aerial Space Squad. The Aerial Space Squad tells, when they're doing their show at GalaxyCon. Yeah, we're a not-for-profit. We want to teach everybody to do this. And, yeah, that's very respectful. And again, they tell them they are not-for-profit. When you go say, well, can you give me $5? Just click. Sorry, doing accents. And it's like, all right, I can do 5. Well, it's going to be 8 because of tax. It's like, no, not-for-profit. It's not taxable. So you're just an asshole. So, yeah, I got to be more stern about that. But I think going back to Indiana Comic Convention, we got away from those guys. We walked around the corner, saw the where the Indianapolis minor league team play, walked back around, and we see 2 of these kids arrested. So, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. Maybe I should throw a fit because, you're probably only 300 feet from a cop. That makes me the asshole, though, there. So, a bigger asshole, I should say. Hey, I can understand the hustle. I'm not working enough right now, not by choice. So, but yeah, we really got to stop that. Sorry, Bucket Boys in Chicago. This isn't the place for that. Or you could do like me. I give out buttons with my podcast information. Hey, give it a listen if you like. Oh, you're going to say you don't like kids? What if I started doing that? hey, you buy Dubby Energy and all the money will go to the kids. Hey, I'm going to be up front. I'm trying to make a business out of this podcast. This isn't not for profit. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'd love to do a lot more charity stuff, but I'm not making minimum wage. Hey, at one point I was donating, like, I figured, well, I'm subscribing to Netflix, so DVD and online. $15. Yeah, Greenpeace is worth $15. And it's like, there just came a point where, no, I can't afford that. I could use that $15 more than Greenpeace, sadly. I got to survive. I appreciate the hustle. Just don't lie about it, okay? All right, so there's my rant there. I did post a photo on Instagram with me with some beads. So I did walk down to Bourbon Street. And, it was interesting. It just shows me how old I am. Not necessarily how old I am, but also just how alone I feel. Because, the strip clubs and such. Like, this would be great to party with friends. And I just don't have any friends who can do that. As I say, I'm the one who's didn't grow up, raise kids, and all that jazz. I'm still trying to succeed on my own. And if I'm not succeeding, I don't want to start a family. I owe it to the children. So, yeah. So it was a lot of moments of alienation and feeling alone doing that walk. But, at one point, some guy, hey, here's some beads. Can you give $5 to homeless? There's an ATM in there. Okay, yeah. I'll buy a beverage at that and give you $5 from the change. Really weird that an ATM would not issue more than just $20. So, I don't know what kind of... I guess maybe that bar has that issue where, people are only grabbing money so they can shut the homeless up. So, if they got to keep coming back to the ATM, let's keep charging that fee, and hopefully that'll come to us. Not a bad business strategy, but I definitely don't appreciate it. But, yeah, that is a thing right now, though, for me. I appreciate a lot of... I've been going through some degree of therapy recently. And a lot of group work. So, and I have great friends. Megan, and some friends back home. I was hoping to be a little more than that. But, we're all on the market. What can you say? And it was very much, these people have helped me know that, hey, this will pass my tough times. Nobody's going to let you fail. But, nobody's going to let me fail, but nobody's still going to take a chance on me. Like, yeah, we'll make sure you're afloat. You're not going to drown. But... And I shouldn't say that. Dad has taken a chance on me with all of the I Dig Crazy Flicks brand. That's something I dig at saying when I'm giving out buttons. Look, I Dig Crazy Flicks. You appreciate the brand. Because you did Crazy Flicks. You're at a Comic-Con. The content behind the brand, well, you have to be the judge. So, but, yeah, I just... I get to the point where I still am feeling very alone. I couldn't take Ava, obviously, on this trip. So, yeah, I'm a little stressed over that. But, nobody's really going to answer that for me. And I'm just getting very frustrated with that. So, I'm going to do my best, That is something I've said in job interviews. Look, you're going to get my best. Because that's the only thing I can offer you. If I can't do that for myself, I can't do that for you. So I am going to definitely... I think I deserve my best. And, yeah. If I can't give it to myself, I can't give it to you. So I'm going to have to bust my ass. So I'm doing my best. And thank you, Dad, for all the support And thank you, Mom, for letting Dad provide all this support. Hopefully we'll get through this. Hopefully Bill Simmons will listen to Joe Pantoliano and get him on the podcast. And who knows, maybe my ability to hook people up like that, my podcast might be worth $50K to the Ringer. Who knows? That's a pretty low asking point. I'm just saying. So yeah, that is Fan Expo New Orleans, and me, I suppose, just putting it out that, coming out as queer, and just learning a lot about myself, Thank you, New Orleans. Somebody, the person at Electra Cosmetics I was talking to, I said I was from Peoria, it's about 2 hours south of Chicago. Oh, I love Chicago. It's like New Orleans, except it actually has public transportation. I said, yeah, that's not going to happen down here because you got the gimmick of the streetcars. And she said, yeah. And, I'm sorry if it's she. Again, I'm getting used to this different color flags, which I find greater than the American flag. There we go. I said it. Definitely greater than the MIA POW flag. I don't know why we get to hang that beneath the American flag at government buildings, but all the people who have, I'm sorry, probably more persecution and people being killed who are on a gender spectrum, a sexuality spectrum, than people who went to NAM. Okay? I said it. I'm not going to take that back. So, it's just great to learn about people and about myself. And thank you for, giving me a platform with I Did Crazy Flicks to just talk. And, it's about movies, but that I learned so much from that. So it's just so great to learn stuff from reality. So, let me wrap this up then. You want to help the podcast out? Rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. 5 stars preferably. Be as honest as you'd like to be in the comments. I will learn from them. I wouldn't ask for it otherwise. You can help me by being a Patreon member. That's patreon.com/IDidCrazyFlicks. I'm only looking for $3 a month. You don't want to think about me. Think about Ava the Queen Kitty. That's 3 tins of cat food you are offering her. So, enough support. She's well off. Maybe that's even more important than me being well off. But $3, yeah, it's just a nice gesture. You get a waterproof sticker or a fridge magnet to help promote the podcast for me. You also get access to the 90forchill.com, the original Podbean feed on Patreon, so you can see how I've grown and matured as a podcaster. I shouldn't say see, hear how I've grown. And you also get a shout out on every episode as long as you're subscribed. So thank you, Tim Bates. You can find him on episodes about 1989's Bloodsport in Space Arena and the 1988 horror comedy classic, Night of the Demons. Thank you, a good wrestling influence on me, the Scoop Staley. And thank you again, Dad, for all the effort you put in to the I Did Crazy Flicks brand. And the best way to help the podcast out, come and be a guest on the show. Just offer me a movie, a theme, a director, an actor. As long as we're focused on something bonkers, insane, out of touch with reality, I would love to talk about that. But, hey, you got something, just a great story. It was between 70 and 100 minutes. It could be gay cowboys eating pudding, but sorry, South Park joke. But hey, that's an ideal runtime. It's definitely worth it. 40 minutes on Zoom to talk about. So email me at rustthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com with those suggestions, or follow me on my social medias. That's at catbusrust.bsky.social on Blue Sky, at catbusrust on Threads and Instagram. I might be on there a little more as we insist that Joe Pantoliano gets brought on to the rewatchables. Otherwise, I just have to, a lot of thinking about you, Stacia. Stacia Harden, thanks for being such a great influence on me. Thanks for looking after me and keeping me out of too much trouble. And I hope you're doing the same for everybody else you touch in your life. And Skim gets it. I don't mind you squeezing the ectoplasm out of Skimbleshanks, the most jellicle of kitties, the one-eared angel. So, hey, thanks for this. Follow me on this trip to New Orleans. Look forward to the next episode. I'd love to talk to somebody about a movie, perhaps next week. That I know that's pushing things. I'll get to work on that, though. And, hey, again, just thanks for listening to I Dig Crazy Flicks with Cat Buster Us. I'm never going to pay you back for that, but I'll do my best to do so. Thanks.
Can I hear a wahoo?
See, okay, my own personal headcanon here, so we're going to write this together, is that what the Frog Brothers do is that how a vampire dies is unique every time. And there's always a risk that the way that they die could kill you too. So that's why they freak out, because they're not sure exactly what's about to happen. When they kill Marco, like oozing like juice all over everybody, it's gross. But then in the tub, like, dude, it's totally different. So they don't know what the vampire is going to do when they die. Because when he explodes, like, they have to hide behind a door to make sure that they're not caught in the explosion. So they don't know. And it's for all the experience that they have, that's the linchpin. They're like, we're going to kill you, but we have no idea what's going to happen when we do.
It's really interesting. I mean, in Feldman even says that, like, they all will try to take you with them.
Right.
You know? That is really interesting. I totally buy that. And that does make sense why we would totally freak out. I mean, and also it's like, Joel might have been pushing us to freak out more for reasons that I didn't grasp. You know, that kind of thing might have been part of it.
Listen, the performance speaks for itself. Like, it's such a powerful thing, because that was always what I got. I was like, they don't know what's about to happen, but they're still going to kill you, though. Like, that's you're right. Those are the rules.
This podcast was made possible by the love and support of Dave and Cindy Stevens, Rory Stevens and Allison Higgins, Danny Daniels, and Stephanie Smith.
Long live Flash! You've saved your life. Have a nice day.